Hey y'all, this is Cyndee. I'm the Tireless Tangler. Today we are inking the start of a beautiful fall creation, a Zentangle Inspired Art piece featuring the Tangle Fall Dance by Beatrice Aronas CZT. I hope you will stay around and join me because it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so quickly I want to talk about the paper that we're going to use. I am using this Fabriano Artistico traditional white 100% cotton hot press watercolor, and it's on an Aquarello block. So the paper in this is going to be really important because we're going to be blending water soluble things like watercolors and markers, and so the ability of the paper to take the water and such is going to be extremely important. So just so you understand that your results may vary if you are using a paper that isn't quite as high quality. And you might want to consider using colored pencils if that's the case. So first, I am going to use a straight edge of some kind. I guess it's another page. And I'm going to block this off with a decent size, probably around an inch or maybe a little less, maybe 3/4. I'm not measuring, I'm just eyeballing it and just making a nice border. My thought process with this was that if I used a 5x7, then this is going to fit in like a standard 8x10 frame with matting. And if you have a 5x7 frame, it will also fit and allow you room to mat it. So putting the border in when you're working on something that you're looking at framing is really important. For somebody that usually goes off the edge, you know me. So I tried to make sure I got this in. And again, it's not perfect. It's just, eyeball it and see what you end up with. I hope you can see this. I'm going to be showing some graphics here and there to sort of help along if I feel like it's not visual enough. And I've got a special filter on this section of the video so that you can see the pencil line, so it's a little darker than usual. So I'm just using a Zentangle tile in the center of this, and again, I just eyeballed it and gave it approximately the same distance from each edge. And I'm just tracing a penciled line around it. Sorry about that blurry. And I'm doing these with a voiceover, so it's a little bit different vibe than what you're used to, but I think we're going to get along fine. So now I'm just going to make an inner aura. We are going to put a tangle in here, so you don't want it to be too narrow, but of course you can do as you wish. And we are going to, today we are going to weave in our tangle called Fall Dance, which I've been wanting to do with you guys since last year, and you know me. So this now is going to have an inner aura. So we've got sort of 3 frames going on here: the outer frame from the page, the inner frame from the tile, and the inner aura. So now what I'm going to do is pencil sort of a wavy line from the top to the bottom of this, and I'm going to do it through my frame there. Okay, and hopefully you can see this okay. At the end of this video, I'm going to put pictures of each of these stages so that you can sort of get a better idea if you don't have a good visual on this. Now I'm going to make some things come in and out of here, sort of curly cues, and I know that bottom one was taken off a little bit on the frame, but I think you're going to get the idea, and we're going to go over this. So that's a kind of a muka-y sort of wavy little spirally thing. And then I'm just going to put 2 more coming out of that, sort of just to create more interest and give it a little bit more fullness within the frame. And I'm going to put another excuse me, forgive me, I'm going to put another shoot coming out the other side to sort of balance all of that out. Just try to find, you know, pleasing curves for yourself. Now, my decision making now is which ones of these do I want to go beneath the frame and which ones do I want to go over the top. And so I'm going to go ahead and with an eraser and erase the ones that I don't want to go over the frame. So I'm going to have that curly Q one go over. I'm going to fix this line. Remember, what we're doing now isn't traditional tangling. It is ZIA creation, includes a lot of the stuff that we take out in normal tangling, like the penciling in of where you're going to try to go with this. And so I'm just making it easier for me when I start inking to sort of know where I want to go. And I'm getting all my lines pretty and, you know, the angle's nice and all of that. So this is what I've got now, okay? So now I'm going to take my brown 01 and I'm going to sort of outline this penciled line for my stems. And I'm going to go slightly beneath or on the underside or to one side of this. And I'm going to start on one side and I'm going to try to be consistent with this as I move upwards, okay? So this one's going to go across the top of the frame. And so I'm just going to connect that up and follow this off the end. And I don't know if you can see that penciled line, but I think you can get the idea. Just a little bit out from your penciled line. Now you're going to aura that on the other side of your penciled line and just let that penciled line sort of be your guide for how thick you want your stems to be. Now, I want to tell you that as I draw this in, this is going to become the ugly stage of this process. And so I don't want you to get frustrated. I also want you to pay attention to how long it's taking me to make each of these lines. I'm using extra care. And of course, in creating a ZIA, one of the other differences is that we are pre-planning our outcome, which we don't normally do with the tiles. So again, why we are using the penciled lines, as I already have an idea of what I want this to be. And that's okay, but again, that's why that is not included in regular tangling, is because it interrupts the zen when you're doing this pre-planning and all of that, right? Your mind is actively thinking about other things and you're not focusing on the moment and the stroke of the pen, if you will. So that's one of the differences. Now, that doesn't make this wrong or bad, of course. I have been itching since our last project to do a bit larger piece, something that could easily be framed. And so this is kind of where I'm at with that. And as I move along with it, I'm really excited to see what kind of outcome we get. But I want to remind you as we go that I am doing this extremely slowly. Towards the later part of the video, I have a part that I have sped up. I'll still be with you through it. It's double speed. However, I want you to notice that it doesn't look like I'm going that fast in that, and yet I'm going half that speed. I want you guys to understand that this takes time. In order to get the results that you want, you have to be willing to put in time. We will not be done with this today, or probably tomorrow, maybe the next day. It will take us several hours of time. I just sped this up for your sake because as I was drawing this in, I was really having trouble with shaking, particularly when I started with the leaves. And it was quite frustrating to me, but I left that part of the struggle in there because I wanted my shakers and trimmerers to understand that I hear you. And, you know, you will see me bracing my drawing hand with my other hand and in trying to get it to where I could at least put the pen on the paper without making a huge mess. And since, of course, I care about the outcome of this, then that was extra stress, right? So I'm trying to approach this as zenfully as possible, but I want you guys who shake to also understand that it just takes time, and you have to be willing to slow down and give yourself an opportunity to work at it a little bit. And I also want you to know that the longer I drew on this day, um, the the better the shaking got. And so I'm firmly convinced that practice is going to truly help a lot. And so if that means that when you start out in the morning or whenever, you get out a scratch sheet or work in your sketchbook for a while and just draw lines or draw patterns or whatever you want to do to warm your drawing hand up, that's going to help you. It's going to help you a lot. Now, not immediately and not even in the first 5 or 10 minutes, but if you can get into a zenful place and repetition and all of that, you're going to find that that really does help you. Now you'll notice I went from the right side up and came back down on the left side, and that's how I'm avoiding getting my stems crossed over. Now, it's not the end of the world if that happens, but I just like it open like it is. Of course, I'm going to draw a bunch of stuff in there, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Mountains out of molehills, right? I could have gotten a little bit better curve on this, but it turns out okay. And remember, we are entering the ugly stage of art, and there will be more ugly stages as we move through. You know, putting on the color is really pretty, but then as we move through that and add more and blend and this and that and the other, we make further messes. And so I just want you guys to trust the process, right? Take your time and try to enjoy yourself instead of being in a hurry, okay? Now, what I'm doing now, this is real time, no speeding up, but later when I get to the rounding and such of the tangle, then there will be speeding. It actually looks far more natural double speed than it does in regular speed, so. So I was pleased with the framework that I set up here. And again, I've got a picture of this, I think, at the end. But this is where I start the fall dance part of this. You just need that arid stem with the parallel lines. And then you're going to make sort of a partial leaf shape. Now, it's not one of those things that's going to hang by a little stem as it comes out. You want part of the leaf to be flat to the stem on the bottom, okay? And then we're going to put these cute little doodads on the aura that goes around that, okay? So let me show you another one. And then we're going to aura this. And as we come to the top, we're going to leave a little wiggly thing that can do sort of whatever you want it. It can point whatever direction you want. And then on the side that's on the outside of the leaf, you're going to want to put a little sort of cup or a hook or something in there, a little dip. And you just get this fun sort of, I feel like it's a little bit Art Deco. Well, maybe not. It's more like stained glass, because when I get done, excuse me, when I get done, okay, one more time. When I get done, I'm going to round and reinforce all the lines, and it sort of looks like something, you know, you can put color in, and I don't know. I don't know where I get that impression, but yeah, that's how I feel about it. So I liked it, and I also did go around reinforcing lines everywhere, so, you know, I've got a pretty good basis for framing that watercolor that I'm going to put on here in the next video. We will only be inking today, and I'm not sure if the framing is in this video or in the next one, but we'll see. The frame in the middle I'm going to do in black. Now, as you change directions on this and come back the other side, don't forget to change your little hook thingy to the other side as you go. So now on the outside, on this side, you put your little, I think it looks like a little finger or something, but it comes out, a little stemmy twig or something. Just try to keep in mind where you are and what side you're on, because I think I got at least one or two of these little finger things on the edge on the wrong side. So it's not the end of the world if it happens. It just looks more natural on the outside. I don't know what's wrong with my throat. I guess it's allergies. I hope everybody is doing well. Really proud of Polly Heitzelman. Excuse me, Polly. Sometimes your art just amazes me. You've got some real talent there, and you're really good with colors. You're good at choosing colors and putting them together and using watercolor backgrounds. So I just can't believe how far you've come. It's just amazing. So good job, young lady. Good job.
It's nice to be appreciated.
That was my Apple Watch. I guess it wanted to be part of the group today. Poor thing. Now I don't want to tell it wasn't appreciated. It was somebody else. Also want to shout out to Nancy Pierce, of course, who holds this whole thing together. Thank you, Nance. Thank you for being everybody's mom, everybody's truth teller, and you are an amazing woman. Don't let anybody tell you different. Don't let anybody make you small. You're awesome, girl. Much love. And to my ladies in Europe, the Netherlands, I know I've got 2 or 3, and wherever else you are from, welcome and happiness and joy I wish you. The world is an ugly, ugly place right now. I know it is in our country. And I just want everybody to know that this part of the world is going to remain happy and joyful and artistic and free. Now at this point, I'm deciding whether to put my leaves underneath my frame, which I guess is what I've decided to do, or make them on the outside since I have the other side coming down on this. Now the leaves are going to be pretty dense up here in this spiral. So don't panic. We're just going to overlap a few, leave some out. It's not going to be a big deal. Let's see what Cyndee does and how she handles it. Because I don't know. It's going to be fun, huh? I guess I'm going to finish these. That works. I'll worry about the problems later. That's the procrastinator in me. Unfortunately, my son is an excellent procrastinator, so I assume that he is learning that from me, although I think part of that comes naturally to him. We're both going to try to do better. At least I'm going to try to do better, and then I'll try to force him to do better. Poor baby. He's so misused. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put these in around the spiral and then come back down, and wherever I have room to put one on that side coming back down, then I'll just make space for it. So that'll be an interesting dynamic there, with part of the leaves coming over the frame, part of the leaves curling underneath that frame. At least I think it's going to be dynamic. And when we get to the shading part, which is probably the 3rd video, then we'll address that and make it a little bit more fun, hopefully. Okay, so now I'm going to try to figure out how to come back down. It's going to be fun. Let's watch. Just take your time. And don't forget what side you're coming down on. There you go. Trying to think what else I've seen in Facebook. Oh, Yeah, I really wanted to tell you guys I appreciate all of your input on my little color test card that I put up in there. Trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the edges of these leaves. And so I appreciated sort of brainstorming and sort of getting your opinions. And the thing that I got out of that the most was that nobody minded the red on the leaves. So yay, that'll do. That'll do. The rest is just going to be personal preference, I think, for what you guys want. I just thought the brown was, I don't know, kind of a downer. My 70s is coming out, isn't it? So I'm just carefully drawing this beneath the other stuff that's coming out there. I'll try to zoom this in pretty close and so you guys can sort of see what's up. I really like this pattern. I really like it a lot. Got another one that I want to do too. We won't always do these multiple day deals like this one, but I just really wanted something bigger to work on that took a little bit more time that I could, just, enjoy. The daily projects go by so fast, I don't really have time to enjoy what I'm doing, and so this is going to be fun. So now I'm going to put this leaf over the frame, right? That penciled line for the frame. Now it is going to sort of touch into what's going beneath it, but shading is going to fix that problem for the eye, okay? Well, plus in the black on the framework when we draw that in. Boy, I'm singing bass today. How many of you are in your mind going, Daddy sang bass, Mama sang tenor, me and little brother just joined right in there. Wow, is that a hee-haw song or what? Who remembers that old show Hee Haw, back when we only had TV on 4 channels? In my state, OETA was one, so whatever your local public broadcasting thing is. They always played Hee Haw on Saturday afternoon at 4. That just, for a family that was into classical music, and that's what my parents played, that was just something else. Bunch of dumbness. We weren't really as country as most folks in this part of the country are. My mom and dad were both college educated, and their parents were both college educated, and so we had a bit of a different perspective than the more rednecky kind of thing. And it's not that I find anything wrong with that, it was just different. So the really twangy part of being an Oklahoma girl, it's never been my thing. I mean, I can put it on if y'all really want to talk, but that's not really my thing. My grandmother was an English teacher, so, it's her fault I spell my name the way I do. That was way, way back in the late 60s, before it was in vogue to spell your name different. I'll do anything to act like I'm special, won't I? But you guys remember, you guys are all of a generation to remember, I think, that time when that all occurred, when all of a sudden it became popular to just spell your kids' names whatever weird way you could come up with. Now, of course, that continues, but Even the names are weird now, so. There's no more Marys, are there? Unless it's Maria, which is a beautiful name, I actually think. Some of those old names. Okay, so I'm going to tell this story. So back when I was a kid, we had a lady in our church whose husband's last name was Pig with two G's, and her first name was Ima. Yeah, I could never stop. I could never stop laughing at that. I've always found that to be highly amusing. So it's whatever. I was always like, man, if I had a name that embarrassed me, I would change it. But maybe that's my own weakness and need to conform to the societal norms, huh? I don't know. I'm just drawing my little leaves. I'm a pig. Okay, I'll stop. But it was funny. Come on, I was a kid. I mean, there was nothing about that was not funny. Nothing. I mean, the jokes just wrote themselves. I was a terrible child, wasn't I? So when you run into those situations, you just do the best you can, right? Go under, over, kiss in the middle. So Mari did great at his audition yesterday. He made the band. So that's the all of the regional directors have a concert band that they put together, and the kids all audition for it. And I'm sure it's called something different in every state, but ours is called Central Oklahoma Directors Association, so CODA. And he is particularly shy, and it's not his favorite thing to be singled out in any form. So it was a big deal for him to be courageous and do that. I was really proud of him. I'll stop talking about you now, baby. You don't have to leave. That's my boy. I can't help it. I'm proud of him. And I should be, because, I love my kid. All right. About to wind up on the leaves and get started with the reinforcing the lines and the rounding and line weight. And it's personal opinion, but I really like the way it turns out at the end as far as the framework. And then in the next video, we will start with the watercolor, or in my case, the Arteza brush pens and the, well, I don't know if we'll get to the Tombow in that video, but we'll see. All it takes is a water-soluble marker, and if all you have is some crayons or Crayola stuff, I think they have Crayola Super Tips really cheaply, and you can get a bunch of different colors. And I used those for a long time when I was doing lessons with NE, because that was what I could afford. And they're quite water soluble. They work really well with water. The problem with those that I found was that the tips were so large that it was hard to get in the small spaces. But I have got a hack about that for you guys that I will show you when we get into it. Well, I don't know if it's a hack. It's just I figured a way around it. So I will, for my Zenders, because I know you're the only ones still on here, I will give you a hint that the frame that I'm going to use is made from a moth that we did during the Inktober series. And I used a different variation than I used for that. So that's what's coming next if you want to get on there and look at the step out. So I guess the next video will have the inking of the frame on it and then some watercolor. Well, it is Sunday afternoon. I meant for this video to be up today. It will probably be tomorrow, Monday. And you guys will love me anyway, I know, because you're Zenders. And my Zenders are awesome. Say hi, puppy. Say bye, puppy. Don't pee on the floor. Oh, I swear that dog. He has to put his mark on everything in the living room. He doesn't do it in my room. He doesn't do it in the kitchen, although he did used to pee on our water bottles that we stored on the floor, and we had to move those because that was not working for me. Ew. So it's because he still has his package, and I need to have that removed immediately. That involves transportation and all the other stuff. So this is the end of the basic inking. Okay, so now we're going to transition over to the rounding and the line work, or the reinforcing the lines and such. Now this is the part where I was shaking horribly badly and having trouble putting my pen down at all. And I just really fought through it, and that it's slow and it's tedious, but you know, I managed it, and you'll see me brace my shaking hand with my other hand so that, you know, it's got a little bit more weight. The last time I did a series, maybe a year and a half ago or something, somebody suggested that I try wearing a wrist weight or something, and I really want to try that, or something that weighted my hand a bit to give it a little bit more stability. And that was really a good suggestion that I have been wanting to try. So my intention when I started this, just rounding the edges and reinforcing the line on one side for sort of a shadowing effect. But when I got down to it, in this little area around the spiral, they were so close to each other that it was really hard to differentiate what was going on there. And so I guess I decided as I went that it was going to be easier to see them if I could just, you know, ink all the way around it and darken that and make it a little bit more visual. So that's what ended up happening. I also, as I was working in here where I had all of the messy lines for the stem work, I also found myself working those lines just a little bit to make them not quite so noticeable, the differences in width in those places. So this is the beginning of the ugly stage, and it will get uglier before we get finished, but it's going to be okay. So each one of these places where there is a little corner, preferably not inside of that, but on the outer edges, we're just going to round that off and make it a little rounded, just a little rounded area. Simply, you know, just simply rounded. Okay. So I have decided, going to put little C shapes, little rounded C's on the insides of these stems just to make them more interesting. I'm going to use a Tombow marker to give those color later. And I'm going to try, emphasis on the try, to keep it light enough to show those lines through. And here up on the stem, I sort of make a mess with them, but I really, like most things, think that once we're done with it, you know, some of those things aren't going to matter anymore, right? So I kept having to shift my angle on here to keep it where my hand could come down. It was pretty frustrating. I kept changing the angle, kept changing the direction that I was pushing or pulling the pen, and yeah, it was a day. At this point during the drawing process, I was wondering if I could even do the project at all because this was so bad. I was so frustrated. But I was just determined not to give up because I know sometimes it's better. So I didn't give up, and I'm glad I didn't. So you guys don't give up either, right? Remember, art has an ugly stage, and this is part of it, at least for me. This is part of it. When the lines are ugly and, you know, they're going everywhere, you're making a mess, you know, you've got too much ink here, you've got too little ink there, you know, they're not curved right, whatever the issue is, it's going to be unnoticeable when we get finished. So here's where I make the mess. So just, you know, laugh gently and move along, and you guys do a better job than I will. And here you can see me bracing my hand to try to. Oh, poor Cyndee. Poor Cyndee. Yeah, it was a day. But my shakers and trimmers, what I was actually thinking here was that maybe this will encourage you. Maybe it will encourage you to know that even though you shake, there are a few things that you can do maybe to make it better, and to keep going and keep practicing. That's one of those things that will help. Your muscles will get stronger, and your muscle memory will kick in, and that will make a big difference. So just, you know, don't lose hope. Here we go. I'm about to make a mess. I felt these were too wide. I wanted them closer. So now I'm going to go back and stick extra lines in when I should have just left them because they were fine the way they were, and now they're too much. This is what I mean when I say I need to stop fixing things because they weren't broken. See, those were nicely placed, and yeah. Now they're all shoved up against each other. But at this point, I could have said, this is terrible. I give up. But I didn't. And I'm glad I didn't. Brace that hand, girl. Brace that hand. It's like a resist in watercolor. Just push back a little bit. So these are, again, just little C shapes. They're attempting to be C shapes. And Cyndee is going to keep pushing through the issue. And right now, I have an understanding very well that this is the ugly stage, that I don't need to give up, that I'm going to be able to make most of this go away, and not really to, you know, go over it or fix it with a jelly roll, but what I mean is that the art around it is going to be interesting enough to where nobody is going to be focused on the flaws, right? Just a minute, Simba has something to say. Are you going to come and visit me, Simba? Did you want to come up? If your brother comes, there will be, oh, we're going to get in my lap. I have a 130-pound lap dog right here. Right here. Do you want to say hi? You want to say hi? Simba? If I stop petting you, will you woof me? Oh, no, he's pawing me. You are my big lap dog, aren't you, buddy? Yeah. Yeah. We encouraged him to be a lap dog when he was little. And so now he's still a lap dog. He says, I'm 130 pounds and 4 feet tall, and, you know, I'm kind of a badass. You are. You are. You're the best one. You're the best one. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. We needed some Simba time, and now the puppy is going to get involved, and we're going to have a problem up here, so. Oh, River, no. So, that shenanigan filled dog is done, and now we are looking for something new to get into. So, where were we? I have no idea. So, I really did leave this with intentionality, the shaking and all of that. I may have said this already, but I really wanted the people that also shake to know that you know there's still hope for art, you know, even beyond the flaws that you see in or the issues that shaking brings you. So I don't want you to lose hope, and I'm gonna try not to lose hope. And we'll just keep hoping together, hoping for something good. And I hope that by the time we get to the end, you'll see that whatever you end up with, it's going to be beautiful. You know, and if it's not beautiful, you learned something. I keep saying that. And I don't mean you learned something from me. I mean you learned something through the process of creating. And I think that's really important. I don't always appreciate everything I do, but you know, that was certainly true during Inktober. But I was continually surprised at the reactions that I got for different things. So, you know, don't prejudge your art, right? That's an Ennioken uh, quote. Not to prejudge your art. That's something I learned from her. Don't get stuck in the ugly stage and think that there's no point in continuing. Tangle says, "You're right. Always do what my mom says." Because that's what I don't do. Little rotten puppy. So I'm going to put this eventually on all of my stems. I think I take some wayward trips in between onto some rounding and line weight, but I will get there eventually. This is one of those things that less is more, yet you will find areas that just require a little more ink. And it's really sort of individualized given sort of the angle of what you're doing and how much room is in there, how much ink is in that area, you know, and your overall look. And you know, sometimes when you have little areas like that one I just did, there's lots of pointy spaces in there to sort of round, you know, and you get more ink. So, or like in this instance, where you sort of have to build the ink up in order to get that dip. Ooh, that was a good one. Till I kept going. If it's not the shaking, it's the jerking. I just felt like, I guess the lines. One reason why I always use brown when I'm going to add color, or usually when I use brown, is because it merges with whatever color that you're using really well, and so it's much more of a natural transition than if you were, say, outlining things in black and you have like these yellow, orange, and red color scheme that we're using here. And yes, black brings a lot of drama, but brown ink can bring that as well without being quite so dramatic, if you get my drift. So I guess the point for the colors is more to enhance the ink, and rather than, I don't know, I'll have to think that through. um, That's kind of philosophical, Cyndee. I wasn't really expecting to go there, but okay. Okay, well, here we are. But yeah, I probably will continue to use brown ink. I tried to find my brown PN today, but that seems to be gone. Or it may be in a drawer, or maybe it's in my easel. I'll have to look in that drawer. I might want that for after I've gotten all the color on for some, line reinforcing or mess covering or something like that. Also, we were talking about using the black or the difference between using the black or brown for outlining the red on the leaves, and the Facebook group also sort of agreed about the brown. I think was a little bit more natural looking than if you put in black. But I can think of lots of reasons to use black if that's the effect that you want to get. Remember, it's not about being perfect or using great artistic, at least not for me. It's not about, being classically trained and doing everything in art correctly and where's the light source and all of that. You guys know I don't care. What it's about for me is really having a process that I can enjoy and adapting it so that it's workable for me. And I think that's what drew me to Zentangle in the beginning, is that there was a place there for me, and the issues and the artistic blocks that I had from that I felt like were holding me back from art. Those were immediately addressed by the Zentangle Method, the actual 8 steps that starts with gratitude and appreciation, and breathing and relaxing and focusing on each line and finding your zen in this. And you have to examine when you draw, what is your purpose for drawing? Is it like for, I think Nancy, it's just about her sanity, that she has to do it constantly or she's just going to lose it. And boy, have I been there. And some others of you draw constantly for, it helps deal with pain. I know that one too. Or both physical and emotional. It helps with depression. And when you start a ZIA, what you want to ask yourself is this about Zen, or do I want a piece of art when I come out of it that I can frame or do something special with? And so that's really the question. And it doesn't make any one way right or wrong. It's just a different it's a different approach, sort of, to how you want to arrive at where you want to go. Okay? So when I start these things, I want something pretty. I want something pretty I can be proud to show off. And there's nothing wrong with that. And so that's what I'm going for here. I wanted to do something with fall. I wanted to use paint because I was itching for color, and I love merging paint colors and putting water on there and watching them blend. And I mean, there's for me, there's such satisfaction in that. But for you, it may be something completely different that you get out of drawing. And so when we do ZIAs, you have the opportunity, not that you always don't have the opportunity to do your own thing, but you have the opportunity to be even more creative. You have the opportunity to go off and really, truly do your own thing. So, I encourage you to the extent that it makes you happy, to be courageous and bold and try your own things and spend the time on this and make it something special for yourself. That's one for the beginning of this. I worried that a longer, even longer form video for my channel may not be the way to go, that I might want to incorporate shorter videos, and I do. But this necessarily requires time, and I want to give it the time that it deserved. There was a quote I just saw by an artist that drawing takes time because each line contains time or something like that. I can't even remember who said that, but I'll have to look it up and post it to you guys. But there's time in each line that we draw. And so when we give each line the time it deserves, then it makes each one special. And so even if you're cleaning up your lines like I'm doing, and you're adding line weight, and you're rounding the sharp edges off, and just making it look cool, that is worth time. Each bit of that is worth time. So I think when I started drawing in earnest, quite a few years back now, I think the most important thing that I wish I had known then was not to rush, was to stop. And each time I started a project, each time I drew something, to give it the time it deserved. I was in such a rush to create constantly that that I missed the opportunities with the stuff I was doing that I could have had, if that makes any sense at all. So, just something to think about for you guys. And you may not be where I'm at, where you can appreciate that so much, and you may just need to, create at a frantic pace like I certainly did back in the beginning, especially after I lost Sean, and just be constantly busy with a pen in your hand. And that's absolutely where I was at. I took my sketch pad and ink pens everywhere with me. Um, Doctors, wherever I was, if I had to stand and wait, boy, that sketch pad was out, my ink pen was in my hand, and we were drawing. All of Murray's games I drew through. I mean, not that I didn't pay attention, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so shh, don't tell. But yeah, I was in that place where everything was frenetic, everything was desperate, and gradually, I think I managed to relax a little bit, and sort of, and then when I started to realize what a difference that made in my art, then I really slowed down, right? I always felt like when I started drawing that one of the reasons I wouldn't be a good artist was because I was so slow. Now, that was because I'm a perfectionist, of course, but I felt like all the really good artists are just so fast, they just whip it out there. Yeah, no, not really. We have to give each line its time and give it its worth. So I really have completely changed my perspective from when I first started to draw. And, that was part of my art journey. And each of you is in your own place on your art journey, and your art journey is not going to be the same as mine. And so, it's going to be okay. Wherever you are, each project you take on, each tile you create gets you further along. And so whether it's something that you're happy with or proud of, that doesn't matter. What matters is you took a step. You took a step along that road, and you accomplished something, and that's what's important. So any of you, now, I'm really allergic to social media, I need to tell you. But any of you that want to share your art, and hope, eventually I'll come by and see a lot of it. But I don't see everything. I'm not going to lie about that. But I'm really allergic to social media. It just, ugh. But anyway, to say that, we do have a Facebook group. It is wonderful, and Nancy Pierce is the mommy there, and she makes sure everybody eats their vegetables and behaves. So I want you guys to know that is a safe place for you to share your art, and for you to get positive reinforcement and encouragement, and maybe some tips if you ask for it. Um, there are always people in there to help you out. And If you can, be patient with me, hopefully I will be in there quite a lot. And to my peeps over on Instagram, I feel ya. I'm coming back. I'm going to try to do a promo for this project over there here in a day or so, and we'll just see where I land. So I love you guys on Instagram too. And so Facebook group and Instagram, and the links are in my description on each video. And just hook up with the crew. We have really fun, good people in our groups, and blessed people, people that are kind and just really wonderful. I have said many times that the tangling community is just the best community in the world, and I truly, honestly believe that, because there is just no room for hate. There's no room for competition. There's no room for jealousy and mean comments. And the people that are like that usually get weeded out pretty quickly because nobody will tolerate meanness here. And so I hope that if you have encountered that, you have let somebody know. But if not, I hope that we are proving ourselves to be a warm and accepting community. And no matter which group you should choose to join, if you should choose to join, I hope they will welcome you with open arms. Ours is called Cyndee's Zenders. And you can find the link, as I said, in the description. And we would love to have you and hang out. So, yeah. So this is pretty much the end, and if I'm not mistaken, this part is sped up at double the time, but it's still not that fast, is it? So again, give each line the time it needs. I just figured any slower and everybody'd be pulling their hair out. Although sometimes I can be entertaining. You just never know what you're going to get with me. Could be tears, could be laughter, could be craziness. Could be yelling at the dogs, could be yelling at the kid. We've done all of those things in these videos. And I want to thank you guys for taking that journey with me. I think when I started making videos, Mari was 7. And I had just started. And it was tough back then because, of course, nobody knew me. I was nothing. In fact, I started making videos before I was a CCT. So I just had this need to share back the joy that Zentangle has brought me, and the peace and the acceptance and the love. It's just really a wonderful thing. So I just want you guys to feel like you are accepted. And I hope that you will join us. The question you need to answer to get into the Facebook group is, where did Zenders get their names? And it's because my Zenders watch to the end of the video, and they are full of Zen. So Zenders, okay? So I hope we'll see you in one group somewhere around there, and I am excited to meet you. If you are new here, if you would please leave me a comment, tell me where you are from, what your name is, just your first name. You don't have to tell me anything else. And just share sort of, where you're at on your journey. If you're a new tangler, or if you have been drawing for a while, but you just found my videos, or wherever you're at. I would love to hear from you and get to know you. I know we have people everywhere, all over Europe. We have them in Australia and New Zealand, and we have friends in China and Taiwan, and just a great community of like-minded people. And no matter where we live, I think we find that artists are a lot alike. That we have a heart for the world and a heart for people, and that we care for others. At least most of us do. So I hope that you will continue that trend to the people around you and let them know that there is love and hope in this world, and we can try to share our own little, we can take over the world with kindness, do it from the inside out. They'll never see us coming. They'll think we're suckers, but we'll show them. We'll show them where the true strength in kindness and compassion is. And that's where we're at. You know, we got to be willing to share the art. So I hope you will share your art with me and our community. Wherever you may land, you are welcome. See, we got to the last one finally. I have been preaching this whole time. Hopefully I'll have something more interesting to say tomorrow. We'll see. I have decided that we are going to try to do the 100 Days Project again this year. I don't know if it'll kill me or not. I'm going to try to format it so that I can survive it, but I just need to do it. I want to do it. It's been my thing for years now, and I really want to continue it. And every year that I haven't done it, it has made me feel sad. So we're going to get after it this year. We might start early. I don't know. But we'll see what happens, okay? You heard it here first, Zenders, and I know nobody else is listening, so there you go. Inside info. That's what you get at the end of these. Inside info. So we're winding this up slowly. But I think you guys well understand now the process that I'm using here. I'm pretty much inking all the lines and just shaving off all the sharp edges with rounding. And I think it's a pretty cool look. You see what I mean about the stained glass look maybe? The lead is sort of like this look with the rounding, I think. And yeah, so hopefully it's going to be cool when we add the color, and we're going to find out. Since I haven't finished the project myself completely, we're going to find out together. I've done most of the watercolor. I'm just at the very end of that, and then there's just shading and finishing touches to do. Shading is always fun. But I got to tell you, I love watercolor. I love watercolor. I love mixing colors. I don't know why it's so satisfying, but it really is. Pretty things make me happy. I'm a girl. Such a girl like that. And I'm guessing y'all are girls too, most of you. And if there are any guys, you know, get some color and get a little bit girly. Not too much, just a little bit. Did I ever tell you guys about the seminar that I was at for interpreting where they made a point of asking all the male interpreters in the room? We were talking about the difference between interpreting for men and interpreting for women, and women that interpret for men, the differences in the way that they approach that interpreting, right? And so the point that they were trying to make is that men and women see certain topics completely differently. And so the subject of color came up, and he had I happened to be wearing this this deep red wine colored top, and he had me stand up and he said, "Okay, men, what color is this?" And all of them said red. And he said, "Okay, women, what color is this?" And, you know, of course, we got the wine and the cranberry and all of the different shades of red that people came up with, women-wise. And he said, "That's my point, that men see the primary colors and they don't go much past that." Now, that doesn't include artists, of course, but you know, and that women see all of them, and just one of those interesting differences. So I just find that stuff cool. I find our differences so appealing because when we merge things and find things that work well together, it's just such a conglomeration of awesomeness, is what I find. So that's just me, maybe. Maybe other people are more purists, but I guess that's a statement on diversity from me, but wasn't intentional. But I just love that, the melting pot perspective. Just put it all together and see what comes out, and it's going to be fabulous, kind of thing. And hopefully, it will turn out to be fabulous. Of course, that's not always the case, but we'll find out. I think we're on the home stretch. Some of you are thinking, couldn't she have put this on 3 times or 4 times? Maybe 6. I really can, but I get dizzy. I wanted it to still be visible and just slightly less yawn worthy. I was really, this stage, after all the inking was done, really appealed to me. I really liked the way it looked, and I couldn't wait to put color on there. Now, you may be more attracted to this without all the extra ink, all the extra rounding and line weight and all of that. But, color can be sort of overwhelming sometimes. And, sometimes it's good if it has a happy, strong base to go in. I don't know. Maybe it's just the coloring book artist in me, that wants to outline everything. Who knows? But that's what I'm going to do. And those of you who are better than me, you do what you want and I'll learn from you. I just want us to hang out and have some fun together. Oh, the dog is itching right now. That's why it's shaking. He's such a rotten puppy. He sure is cute, though. My little wolf man. I was hunting through his puppy pictures earlier. I came across a really cute one where he was still an adolescent, but his ears wouldn't stand up all the way. And one of them was it was standing up, but not quite straight. All of his stages were cute. That's why I didn't murder him early on. Just a joke, just a joke. My animals are quite safe with me. I think that's my problem in the end. Well, I think I'm back to the slow part. Oh, this is the part. I tried to speed it up, but it wouldn't this clip wouldn't speed up for some reason. So I'm back to regular speed here. So that's how we're going to end up is this, I think it's 6.5 minutes of just slow, real-time finishing this. And I apologize for it. I actually was planning to do this part a lot faster, but so much for plans, huh? Now I got antsy. It's because I can see the end. I really don't like doing voiceovers, I don't think. I get antsy. I think I'm boring. I don't know why you guys watch my videos. And I get a little punchy if I do this for very long, and I sort of lose track of what I'm trying to accomplish, which is kind of sad, but true. I wonder if you can develop ADHD in your old age. Yeah, it's something to think about. Yeah, this is looking good. I like when it looks good. That makes me happy. But remember all those little imperfections and stuff. You don't see them anymore. I mean, I see them, but they're not they're not a big deal anymore. We've got so much ink on there, and it looks so interesting, that we don't worry about it. Unless you poured a big ink spot in the middle, I think you're probably all right. Even if your little outlines are messy, whatever. We're going to put color in here, and it's going to be even more interesting. And you just never know. One of my very worst tiles was, I thought it was the very worst tile, and I went to extra lengths to sort of fix it, and it ended up being awesome. And that's when I realized that I should not be giving up on my art. I should be finishing it and then seeing. Then you can judge yourself, right? You can go, you're gross or you're awful. But no, it wasn't. And that was one of my most important lessons that I learned is I don't know what's going to be at the end. All I know is how to get there, right? So that's what I want to show you guys. Not perfection, and God knows, don't try to learn art from me because I know nothing. But just how to trust yourself and how to trust the process, right? And just know that it's going to be okay. Looky there. Not bad. Not bad. Just got a couple more. So I want you guys to drop me a comment, tell me what you liked about this and anything you didn't like or anything that you would like to see that's a little bit different. I would be interested in hearing from you. Again, if you're new, drop me a comment and tell me who you are and where you're from. You don't have to get exact, just, generally. Hopefully you're not in a country where you have to use a VPN, and if you are, much love. Much love. I guess that makes it harder to access things, but just want you to know you're in my thoughts and prayers. And you can't stop art. Art is always going to be there. No matter how you have to do it. No matter what tools you have for it. Artists will always make art. Think of it as a small rebellion. Un petit. Making the world more beautiful will be our way of rebelling against all the ugliness. So let's make it pretty. While I finally try to wrap this up. But remember, this is how long it takes, and each line deserves the time, right? Much love to you guys, okay? I'm going to see you tomorrow.